Yeah guys, it's Ryan K. I haven't uploaded a video on this channel properly in years, it's been now, but today I'm going to quickly show you how I layer my leads in one of my tracks called Florian that's just been released on Outburst Twilight. You can buy it now, I'll put a picture up and a link, etc. Just to show you how I do it. So yeah guys, here's the project. I'm just going to show you the leads on the drop, and I'll have all the track in the background as well, just to show some context to what the leads are going to sound like.
Let's go!
Right, I think you get the point guys. First of all, one thing I see a lot of clients who send me tracks over to mix and master, I see that they use way too many layers on the leads. In my opinion, I've got 3 and 4 maximum layers here. Honestly, you don't really need to go more than that. If you do, you're filling up the frequency range too much, and most things you have to cut quite a bit. So my advice is, first of all, don't use many layers. Try and get away with as least as you can. It makes it sound cleaner. Second of all, I'd always look for an anchor sound, so a sound that gives the theme of the leads. The way I look at it is that if you like fragrances like aftershaves, you'd have like a main smell of the aftershave, but then you have other scents and notes that accompany the smell just to make it a little bit better. So yeah, I always look for one sound that I want to make sure that comes through. Let's have a listen to see what that one is. Go. Okay, so basically super salt sound, and this brings us onto the next main thing in my opinion. Always make sure to find the right sound first. Never find a sound and go, alright, that's pretty good, but I'm just going to EQ it to bits until it fits. Get the sound first. If it's going to take 2 hours of looking through presets, do it. This preset's from one of my banks that I released on Freshly Squeezed, so these 2 banks are already out now. You can actually, I'll put a link for you. Most of my sounds on my tracks are from these banks. I love them, so bit of self promo there. Okay, but let's have a look to see how I have them processed. Right guys, so here's the mixer. This is the main lead synth that I had. It's classed as lead 2, but you know, it was the main one. On this, I've literally got an EQ. I don't even think it's doing anything. Yep. Just got a Pro Q3. I'm not even doing it because the sound is exactly where I want it. I'm fine. I haven't cut any lows out whatsoever. I'm going to do that on my lead bus. I'll be doing that later. So yeah, so that's the main sound, the main driving sound of the track. Alright guys, so the idea for the second sound, which is this. I wanted to build on top of the first lead. So the first lead, I kind of sees the center anchor point, as I mentioned. This one, I wanted to kind of swirl around at the side a bit and add a bit of, make it a bit mysterious and give it a bit of movement, a bit of edge. And again, the sound is pretty much how I wanted it, but the only difference was as I took a little bit out here, because that was poking out the mix a bit too much for me. Okay, use your ears. Don't look at this, use your ears. So the last, or the second last one, is this one. So on this one, I've taken all the bottom out, well, pretty much taken a chunk of the top out. I've also added a dimension expander, so just to make it a bit wider, but the sound is completely different from the other sounds, okay? It's got no detune on at all, so it doesn't kind of interfere with the other sounds, so it kind of fits into the mix a lot better. Oh yeah, so the last one is this one. My idea behind this was I had a bit more higher energy in it, so again there was a bit of room on the top end. It was a bit too dark, the lead, so I wanted to bring this in to bring up the balance a bit more towards the higher end. These all go into the bus. I think one of them doesn't. That's because I want to do separate things on that, not to these leads, but let's have a look at the bus. First of all, in fact, so I'll put it all together again. So as you can see, I've only got a couple of dB off on the compression just to glue the sound together a bit. I've let the attack, it's still quite fast, but I want to let a little bit of the transients clip through. Pretty strong ratio on it, just to push it down quite a lot. Well, I say quite a lot, it's not that many dBs off, but it glues it together for me. Moving on, this is where I shape most of the sound. Again, I've taken the low energy out. I've got a dip here, just to clean it up a bit. So the phone's going, 2 seconds. Right, back. So where was I? Yeah. So yeah, I'd done the compression, some simple EQ, a dimension expander, just to push out the sound a bit further. And I've got a track spacer on, so I think the track spacer is working. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's on the sub. Because you might have seen quite a low end, quite a bit of low end on the Pro Q3 here still. So in the drop, in the breakdown, in the build up, when there's no sub playing, the sub of the lead pulls through, but as soon as the sub of the main sub comes through on the drop, it ducks the sub out, just so it doesn't interfere. You hear a lot of tracks, again, some clients have said to me, you lose a lot of that energy down here. So you can combat it by adding like a bass drum, but I've got one anyway, underneath the, that sits underneath the leads. But this is a bit more of a wider one, so it leaves a bit more energy down the centre for the leads sub, a little bit of sub in there anyway. And lastly, to make sure automating the hell out of things. As you can see here, I've got so many different automations. I've got mix automation here, so I've got an EQ being automated. So I think up here it is to take out some lows, and then over here I take the Pro Q off, so I don't need it anymore. Things like volume automation, should all know. I've got some lead extra panning over here, so I'm panning the leads if I need a bit more. Cut off, etc. The basic stuff. I've also automated the LFO tool, so it ducks the volume on the drop, but beforehand the rest of the leads are not ducking. So yeah guys, the take home message, I would say 100%, and I keep saying this, and people look for magic bullets, magic plugins, magic but honestly, getting the sound done first, making sure the preset's correct and it works with your lead, your riff, whatever, is the most important thing. And then secondly, making sure that your sounds fit each other well. They're not all just 5 layers of super saws, right? That's not going to work. And third of all, make sure that you've got automation going on and that it fits in the mix well. But that's it. Again, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye.
Let's go!